seem to start it by laughing.
We're always a little startled because
I know the time down. It's like it starts counting down at 5 minutes. You'd think we would know what's going on, but we don't. Happy belated 4th.
Yes. Happy 4th of July, 5th of July. And we seem very red. I don't know. Are we...
It's the 5th of July, that's why.
That's true. We did get a lot of sun.
We have been out in the sun a lot. Yes.
And where are we?
Where are we? Tell us where you are in the chat.
Yes. We are near Big Fork, Montana, which is near
We are in Big Fork.
Are we technically in Big Fork?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're near Woods Bay. Mm-hmm.
Which is really part of Big Fork.
Is it really?
That's what I heard.
I'm learning all kinds of things right now.
That is what I've been told.
Okay. So yes. So thanks, Johnny. You can hear us.
Yay.
So I've given up on that. We're just going to start doing shows, and I'm not going to ask anymore.
Well, I told them to tell us in the chat
because
because they know the drill, and you're going to ask. So just let us know. So thank you, Johnny, for being on the spot. Ha ha.
So it's really, really cool here.
Is it?
Oh, well, okay. It's interesting here. It's fun. It's not cool at all,
not cool
really.
At all.
Yeah.
No, the Great Northwest heat wave has affected us. Yes.
Yeah.
We are 45 minutes away from Glacier, which is probably melting as we speak.
Yes. No more glaciers.
It is quite toasty here. I mean, for Montana,
relatively speaking.
I mean,
it's not like in the hundreds.
It hasn't been in the hundreds, but it has been in the 90s.
It just feels very warm, especially when you're in the sun.
Yes.
And like all
We're
day,
so much closer to the sun or something.
In that parade, all day.
Oh my gosh.
Saturday in that parade, it was pretty warm.
It was pretty warm. The other thing that's crazy, okay, because clearly you're from Louisiana, I'm from Texas, right? So what do we know? But up here in Montana and Washington, what has been the strangest thing?
Montana and Washington?
Yeah, as we've been up here in the Northwest, we have discovered it stays light until almost 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
These Northerners, how do they do it?
I don't know.
I mean, it's so, yeah.
It's kind of crazy, yeah. So someone told us the other day that there are times of the year you can go into Glacier and you can see the Northern Lights, which I believe because I feel like we're very close to the top of the world.
Get a little higher in elevation, and we're pretty far north.
Yeah. We could see Canada if we could get a little higher in elevation.
Yep.
We're very close to the border. So anyway, yes, it's been great, but we are here. Obviously, we wanted to come see Glacier, but really, that's not what brought us here.
No, we're here for friends. So our good friends, the Pishnas, are working up here. They're doing a summer camp.
Like a camp working kind of thing.
Yeah,
sort of.
Well, I don't know what you would call it. But anyway, they're helping
seasonal
some other
work
friends
job.
out. Yeah, seasonal work job. There you go. And
it's the 6th. I'm sorry, we said the 5th.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Sorry about that.
So some friends of ours, some other really good friends of ours, bought some land out here, and they are managing a resort for some folks, and then they bought some property, and they are building a nice little business doing some resort type stuff near this lake, Flathead Lake, I think.
Yeah, we're at Flathead Lake, and Britton and Josh, who we talked to in episode 36.
Wow.
36.
How can you remember that?
I wrote it down. Episode 36. And at the time, I don't know if you all saw that episode with Britton and Josh, but they talked about how they were collectors of vintage Airstreams. They love anything vintage. I really think that they are for sure the kind of people, old souls, yes. They're young, old souls. But they love renovating Airstreams, vintage ones, and own 3 or 4 now, plus some little
teardrops. They got one that's just the other day. That's a 1936 teardrop. Beautiful, wood teardrop.
Made in Canada, I think they said. But anyway, so their dream at the time when they talked to us in episode 36 was to put all of these campers in one spot, and then they would rent them out like an Airbnb or a hostel. And then they came up here to Big Fork last year and fell in love with the area and started talking to Jenny and Chris, who, as you said, own the Flathead Lake Resort, and they already had some cabins, and then they let them move their vintage campers on there. So now it is all kinds of, you can rent anything from a teardrop. Actually, you can rent anything from a tent camper.
Empty space, really.
Well, you can empty space.
That's true.
And they also have a Harvest Host spot.
So it's a pretty cool deal.
Plus, you can rent the Airstreams and stay in them, and cabins, and there's even a house, a pretty good sized house. So all kinds of things you can get here.
What's the name of the resort?
It is Flathead Lake Resort.
Okay.
Not to be confused with the Flathead Lake Lodge, which is a bigger hotel-like thing, kind of a dude ranch, I believe. But they have access to the Flathead Lake. It's very hard to get access to the actual lake.
Yeah, a lot of private property.
A lot of private property, yeah. But they have access to it, so we've been able to go down there on the lake. And
you've been stand-up paddleboarding.
I know, I've been paddleboarding. I'm so proud of myself. SUP, we call it now. We are so cool that we call it SUP, stand-up paddleboarding. And we've kayaked. Well, I have. You haven't yet. And then we were out there on the 4th watching fireworks all around the lake. And it's a very large lake. I think I read or heard somebody told me it's 159 miles around it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big lake.
It's a big lake.
It's huge. Probably formed by a glacier, like every lake up here. So, yeah, so beautiful place. I think I put pictures a minute ago, but anyway, that's our campground. We're in a campground called Outback RV campground, and the spots are kind of tight, but it has tons of trees, and so it's giving us a little bit of shade, which is nice. And then the spaces are so narrow. You see on the right, there's Ken Pishna with us from livingastoutlife.com. They're nearby, and so we were hanging out with them, and we had to put our space behind the RV, which is kind of odd, but hey, we work with it, and it's just working out nicely. Here.
It's been really nice, and it's a really nice campground. Dale and I can't think of her name that own it. They're very nice. And
the thing is, we haven't been here very much because there's so much to do around here, and we have friends here. So every night we're going out and doing something or whatever. So lots to see and do. Lots to see and do.
In fact, tomorrow I think I'm going to try to get into Glacier to go on a boat ride. But I just found out, it's one of those things. These national parks, they're so large. I just thought, okay, I'll go to the lake. That's just right there, and it's a 3-hour drive. But that's okay. I think it's going to be beautiful.
It is.
So
it's going to be gorgeous.
Yes. So, okay. We have some celebrations.
We do. We have several.
Okay.
First off, she didn't put it on the list, but it's my wife's birthday this month, July 31st. And so happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Probably better to talk about it at the next show. Closer. But yes,
it's July.
It is July, my birthday month. But we don't celebrate it quite as much as we used to. When you start adding them all up, you stop. Maybe it's not so important to celebrate. Yeah, well, but yes, it is. But it's other people's birthdays too.
Yes. Who else?
Mark Ellis's birthday is on the 13th. So happy birthday to him. And Jill Wheeler on the 22nd, who's also going to be at Camp Carpe Diem, helping us with mountain biking.
Yep. So,
yes, so happy birthday to her. She looks like she's 12.
She does not.
Not 12, but she's very young. Pretty. And the other big thing, thank you, 29th. Yes, that's it. That's it, Johnny. That my sister actually just had a birthday. Shh, don't tell anybody.
No.
Because we always celebrate the anniversary of her 29th birthday, but I realized that is going to have to stop doing that. It's like the 27th anniversary of her 29th birthday.
What happens when she doubles up on that?
And her son is now getting to be a little bit closer to the 29 too, so we might have to start celebrating her 39th. At any rate, big news in Glacier Park. We hit the Jeep.
Oh, yes.
Our Jeep hit 150,000 miles.
Yeah, a lot of miles on it. Oh, it reminds me, I got to get the oil changed. I'll be right back.
Oh, Lordy. Hit 150,000.
150, and she's still running strong, knock on wood. So, that's a nice anniversary.
Yes, that's her name, oh, Lordy. Okay, and we already talked about Britton and Josh celebrated because they got land. They bought land here. Very near to the resort. And then the other people that now have closed on land, Heath and Alyssa.
That's right, Heath and Alyssa. So they
also, we did a show with them. I don't know the episode.
Look it up. Let's see. They bought a house in Montrose, Colorado to start with, and then they've been wanting for the last couple of years to find a campground to buy. And they ended up just outside of Montrose, real technically in Montrose. They found some property that the gentleman who owned it was already starting to sort of get it ready to turn into a campground. So they got, very convenient. So they got to talk to him, started looking at plans and put everything together, and they just closed on that a week or two ago. And so very exciting. So they've already had people visiting. Nothing but boondocking on the property now, but they're getting it ready. The cool thing about this property is it had an old schoolhouse on the grounds. And they're not going to start with a really big piece of the property now, but they'll have room for 25 rigs, I think, or something like that. But the schoolhouse will be outfitted with super fast internet. And so the concept that he's always had is to have a co-working space for RVers to meet and gather and get work done together. So it's going to be really cool.
It is going to be exciting.
Schoolhouse into a nice little co-working space.
And they're going to, they're inviting people in for a little RVE in early September.
Yeah, mini
so
RV. So
if you are an RVE person, go been to the conferences before or not and wanted to, they're going to have one, but it is going to be full boondocking. Yeah,
which will dovetail nicely to our two events, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we have all kinds of things going on in September. Look, number 1,000, Joanne is on. Thank you for joining us. And in other celebrations, Johnny is a great-grandpa now.
Oh, congratulations,
Johnny. Tell us the name of him or her or they.
So, so congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So, what else?
Oh, and the other one. This is exciting. So, speaking of RVE, one of the people we met last year at RVE, even though it was COVID canceled, we still were all there already when it got canceled. RVE is RV Entrepreneur, by the way, conference. Anyway, one of the people we met was Linda Roselle from Tin Cup Pilgrim.
Yes.
She drives around. Tin Can. And she just finished a book that's about to be published and you'll be able to get it on Amazon on July 13th. It's called, what's it called? It's called Journey from Lawyer to Nomad. And it's a story of her life going from being a lawyer to Airstream, to an Airstream nomad. And she travels around and seeks joy and faith in everyday life. And so it's a lovely story. I've started it. I haven't finished it yet. But nice writing and a really good read. So especially for those of you that travel solo. She is a solo traveler as well, so it might be of interest. So I will put a link in the show notes about that, and y'all can pick it up on July 13th.
She's a neat lady, and she visits some really cool places and gets to know a little bit about that particular, it's mostly around the religious, well, it's a pilgrimage, essentially.
Yeah, so, she does a lot of pilgrimages, and she has great faith. Yeah. So she seeks spots along the way that are faith-based.
Really cool.
Absolutely. Johnny, I mean, being a great-grandpa at any age is good, right? And I don't, way too soon for Aviana. What's that mean? Is that her name? I guess that's her name. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Oh, we're getting a phone call.
Oh, are we?
Yes. Look, we got a phone call.
Okay, so we're gonna this is too funny. We don't know what we're doing here. Okay, so
this is a trial. We're gonna try this, folks.
We're
Look, it's April.
It's April.
And Kenny maybe.
Ken's not there yet. Can you hear us, April? Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear us. Okay, I'm gonna turn it up over here. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. How are you doing?
We're awesome. How are you guys?
Doing great. So they're like 4 campers down from us. So, so
if they don't respond on text fast enough, we just walk over. But this time we said, call us.
Yeah. So we've talked about this before. We're doing an event with livingastoutlife.com. That's Ken and April. And it's down in Uray, Colorado. And so we thought we'd just pop on. While we're here, we've been talking a little bit about the event and making some more plans. Yep. And things are shaping up nicely. We've got still a few tickets left. Anyway, just wanted to pop on and say hi. You want to say anything about Living a Stout Life or Camp Carpe Diem?
I don't want to pass the summer away because the summer's been really great, but we're both super excited for the fall and Uray and to like see old friends and meet new ones. And that's what the whole thing is about, is just building more of a community.
Right.
Yeah. And they'll be, and building that community through some really cool activities. But
Fun
that will
activities.
include hanging around a campfire and just doing whatever, just doing what RVers do. But also, I've been to Ouray several times for some photography scouting, and we've got a photography workshop coming up just before Camp Carpe Diem. So I'm going to take some of Camp Carpe Diemers. Is that what we're going to call them?
Attendees, okay.
Attendees.
Campers.
Campers. We're going to take some on some cool photography spots around town. The Pishnans here are going to be doing some cool stuff with breweries and some beers. So, and what else we're going to do?
Yeah, we're gonna team up with Jill and August Wheeler and take y'all on some mountain biking treks.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Teach you a little bit about mountain biking skills, but also about like some, how to take care of your bike. So if your tire goes flat on a trail, how do you change your tire? Or if you need to fix a brake real quick, so we're doing things like that too, because there's always something that goes on. You gotta know how to fix stuff.
Yep. Well, and I don't mountain bike, so I will be taking people on hikes or just hiking or walking. Oh no, there is a lake not far, so maybe we'll be able to do some sup.
Stand-up paddleboarding.
Now that I've become...
Bring your sups.
Yeah, bring props. So we're gonna have a lot of fun, and that is the key word for Camp Carpe Diem.
I don't know if I can bring this up while we have it. This is gonna. If I
lose
you, I apologize.
There we go. Those are the dates and the place. Yeah. So yeah.
Go to
it'll become a lot of fun.
CampCarpeDiem.com. Of course, now I have no idea how to get them back.
Well, that's a trouble.
Oh, you did it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh my gosh.
Look, we're learning.
It's incredible. It's like I'm a
Yeah, I think one of the cool things I'd like to point out too is like we met, you guys, Barry and Deb and us and myself and April met a few years ago at a similar type of event, but it was more geared towards business on the road. But that's where we met, and we met several other people there from this gathering, and you see now we're traveling around together a lot of times. Frequently you'll see Barry and Deb, and you'll see us right next door to them or right behind them or whatever. Yeah. And we've got several other friends that we've made along the road too, and
and that's made it so special.
What this is about.
Really is. We spent the first part of this year with a group of us, and then we went off and we hung out with the Kempers, which is another couple we met
at the same event.
Yeah, and this is all going back to Heath and Alyssa's RVE Summit, and so we just wanted to create a help extend that community and help build on that, and that's really one of the cool things about RVing is being able to get out and not only see beautiful places but meet neat people and have really solid friendships.
Well, and I think a lot of people are doing a pretty good job at figuring out how to build a business on the road. And now it's becoming so much so that you have this great business that you're losing a part of why you started to travel in the first place, which is also the fun and enjoyment part of it. And so that's what Camp Carpe Diem, that's what we want to bring back to that is like, how do you have fun with the people on the road and what kinds of things can you do while you're on the road? And so that was another component of that too.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for popping on.
Yeah. At the spur of the moment.
You're very welcome.
Next time I'll try to give you more warning.
Yeah, he texted me 7 minutes ago.
Now, we're spur of the moment people anyhow, so that's okay.
That's right. Okay. All right, we'll see you later.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Bye.
You will for dinner.
Cheers.
See you later.
All right, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Now, we will have to give that out to more people and have phone calls in the middle. That's kind of cool.
That's
I like
right.
it. Okay. All right. So let's do a little bit of news so we can get to the main topic.
Heck yeah. Let's do some news. Ready?
Yes, I am.
Welcome to Debra's News.
It's actually the Benton's news now, I think, because you're going to chat with me as well. But I wanted we've mentioned here on the show and also in our letter, we've been to a lot of national parks this year. Zion, Glacier will be our 9th, which is crazy to me. Just in 2021, isn't that nuts? We've been to 9. Anyway, but it seems like not only because it's part of what we're seeing so much, I think, but it also the national parks seem to be in the news a lot because of everybody visiting this year.
Yeah, it's been just insanely crowded at some of these parks, and between COVID and the crowds, they've implemented this, reservation system
in
that
a lot of them.
which I think ultimately is a good thing, but it's very frustrating to deal with it if you're trying to get into the park.
It is, and but even for those that aren't having the reservations, like I heard that Zion no longer does the reservations, but you still have to. It's always had, or not always, but for several years, have the shuttle system. The issue is, and we experienced this in Olympic, which didn't have a reservation system. Is that they have such limited parking that they can really only allow so many in at a time.
Yeah.
So actually what we're showing you here has nothing to do with what we're talking about. What we're showing you here is Zion, but Zion had on June 30th, they had a flash flood that just messed it up. That's actually Watchman Campground, which is the campground when you first come into Zion from Springdale that you come to, and it's usually filled with RVs
and tents.
And tents.
I mean, it's
Right.
it's a lot of people packed into that campground.
Right. So they have these mudslides, and it had made them have to close it down. And right now you can't get in with an oversized RV. They're asking any oversized vehicles to park out in Springdale. But what it's also caused, of course, is a lot of backup in Zion, and people can't really get in well. And apparently this is monsoon season for them. Who knew? In July starts monsoon season, the southwest monsoons. And so that is something where, you have a prevailing winds bring all this moisture in, and suddenly you have these water downpours and thunderstorms, and you are, have flash floods. So anyway, that's what they all experienced.
Yeah,
but even before that, we were hearing, because of the record numbers, and certainly over 4th of July, and then what we experienced in Olympic National Park, that with such limited parking, what they're doing is they're kind of metering the cars in and out. So once the parking's full, they are only allowing a car in when another car leaves.
Yeah. Well, and it used to be they would just let people in, and then you would just drive and drive and drive until you found some place. And I think the problem they ran into is people were parking in places that they shouldn't be parking.
Yes.
So they were like, no, we're cutting this off, and we're going to
Well, it's that, and it's also the fact that they're having record numbers of visitors. I mean, it's just crazy how many visitors are coming to them right now during a summer that they also have really limited staffing.
Yeah.
Because last year the numbers were down because of COVID, so their budgets were cut, and so or I don't know if it's the budgets were cut, I think it was, and then they also just didn't know what to predict for this summer because of COVID, and so they didn't hire as much as they were going to. So there are a lot of the facilities are still closed. A lot of the visitor centers are still closed. It's really strange. But what we saw when we came out of Olympic was literally, I counted them, 70 cars in a line,
just waiting,
and they would just let one in as a car left, because then they knew that there was a parking space somewhere
somewhere in that park. It's a parking spot.
Yes, there was a parking spot. So yeah, if you are planning a trip to the national parks this summer, I would strongly suggest staying away from Zion and Arches, because those are the two most popular anyway.
Or just know what you're getting into. I think that's really the thing, is just you've got to be super planned and organized about it.
Well, definitely if they have reservation systems, you want to plan ahead. But there are 63 national parks and hundreds of other national sites parks that they're not the official 63, but there are. So a lot of things else to see, and if you go to some of those that are less known, then there you won't encounter as many any of these issues.
Save the big parks for if you have the luxury to do this.
Yeah.
Save the big parks for after one goes back
not
to school.
Not summer, or not the key seasons. Like someone was telling us, we went to Olympic National Park. It was pretty crowded, but it wasn't horrible, because it's, I think, one of the lesser visited. But Cascades National Park, which we didn't get to, is really not very
pretty
visited
remote,
as well, because it's so remote, but gorgeous. So it's just a matter of think through your plans and think about other parks and other places that you could visit.
Yep.
The other thing about national parks that we heard, Yellowstone, which I know a lot of people will go to this summer. In fact, I know a couple people on their way there now, has just upgraded their fire danger to very high. And so they've banned charcoal and wood campfires in the backcountry for sure, and only in rings, if at all, on the Yellowstone ground. So make sure that you check the signage.
We're already starting to see quite a few fires around. Not in this area necessarily, but we're hearing about them in California and parts of Oregon and Washington. So
Yeah, and people are really being careful about fire. So please be very careful. Put out your fire, douse it completely if you have one. In other RV news, the big Hershey show is going on and starts in September. So
they're definitely going to do it.
That's the
biggest,
latest words.
One of the big, if not the biggest, one of the
largest
biggest.
RV show.
It is the largest.
That's what I've been told.
Cool.
I've never been. It has 33 football fields of RVs. That sounds pretty big.
That is very big. And our friends Eric and Tammy from Techno RV usually go. So if you're going, look out for them.
Say hi to them for us. And speaking of weather, heat, what's the temperature where y'all are? Because like we said, it's warm here, but it is causing lots of issues, all this heat, mostly, health, and especially up here in the northwest, I'm sorry, because they're not used to having air conditioning.
Yeah.
A lot of places, like Seattle's one
it.
of the top 3 cities that does not have air conditioning as far as residences go. But it's causing troubles even up into Canada. British Columbia has been having a lot of issues. And then we read about some RVs up in the area of Canada that's Prince George, British Columbia. The tar on the ground was melting and getting onto their tires. So they were having to do like tar removal from their wheels. So yeah.
No, and we don't need the heat.
And no. So at any rate, and then that's really it.
Okay.
But I do have a question for you guys, just to keep you involved. And it's July. So here's a question for you about July. Who tested the first rabies vaccine in July of 1885?
Who tested it?
Who tested it or created it? Made it. He tested it, yeah. I don't know if he created it, actually, now that I say that. I read that he tested it.
Okay, because I know who created it. I just don't know who tested it.
Who created it?
So, I mean, I can't play because that's not fair. So
it might be the same person you're saying. I don't think he knows. All right, so let us know in the chat if you know who tested the first rabies vaccine. So tell us what is on the agenda for today.
So we had a delightful conversation with Marc and Julie from RVLove, and so they've been full-timing for years and have literally wrote the book on RVing.
Literally.
And so they have a tremendous amount of knowledge. And one of the interesting things about Marc and Julie is that they really took it to heart to do lots of research and to make sure they were putting out really good information. And so, there's so many sources of information about RVing now. Knowing what's good and bad is really difficult. So having a trusted resource, hopefully you'll find us trusted resource for RVing questions, but RVLove, Marc and Julie have been doing it for years and really put some good content out there.
Yeah, they really impressed us because they also talked to us about how they planned on getting on the road and all the research they did to get on the road. We didn't exactly follow that same pattern.
No, we didn't exactly follow that.
Kind of more in the camp of jump in and figure it out. But yeah.
So they've written 2 books. We'll talk about one of them. We talk a little bit about both of them during, but we're going to play you just a short snippet of the interview we did with them.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we'll show you the book and all that, and talk through some of those hacks.
We'll give you a few hacks.
Yeah. And then we have the longer form video. It's sort of up on the YouTube channel now. We need to doctor it up a little bit, but it's there basically. So if you'd like to go see the longer form version, it's there. So here is Marc and Julie from RVLove. Hi, Marc and Julie. Welcome to the virtual campground. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us. We're Marc and Julie Bennett, and we hit the road as full-time RVers back in 2014. We sold our Colorado home, bought a motorhome, and now we write books and do online courses and create content for our blog and YouTube channel and all over social media, and just share what we learn and what we love about, living and loving the RV life with everyone else.
Eventually reached a tipping point in 2017 where I had to choose one or the other. of my regular job were jumping both feet into doing RVLove. And it was so much more intrinsically rewarding to know that we're helping people through RVLove. So that's when we both dove into it, and it's been full time for both of us ever since.
And so we're about really putting content out there that's balanced, that really gives people the tools to, okay, stuff's going to happen, but how are you going to deal with it? What attitude are you going to have, and what tools can you put in place to navigate that situation? And like we said, help them live and love it, whether they're new or been doing it for a long time.
Well, and also depending on how they do it, because most RVers, I think there's 11 million RVers out there. Most of them are weekenders and short time travelers. They're not full timers, but we do tend to attract a lot of full timers because we have much more thorough information, and people, that are taking it more seriously, that are going to do extended RV travel, do dive much deeper. And I think for us, it's just wanting to make it that much smoother, that much easier transition for people to make that jump, because it can be a steep learning curve, but if you do your research and you plan ahead well, it can be smooth and really enjoyable.
To say, you have a new book coming out, so you've already written the book, so to speak, on RV living. But now you have a new book coming out, right? Living the RV Life is your first book. Tell us then about the second book. So I'm very excited about it. This is a book about living in an RV, but with hacks. I like hacks.
Right. So this one is called RV Hacks, 400 plus ways to make life on the road easier, safer, and more fun. And you can see that cover up there on the screen. I mean, it's broken down. I mean, who doesn't love hacks? We all want things to make our life easier. And if we can help, I guess, smooth out the learning curve for RVers. That's really what everything that we do is about. That. How do we make it easier for them? How do we make it safer? How do we make it more fun? And so this is broken up into 6 chapters. So, driving, camping and campgrounds, repairs and maintenance, working in technology from the road, kids, families, pets. I've missed one. Oh, I know, RV living, with things like meal tips and cooking and decorating and organizing and storage. So I think
it is good, Lex, because then there are, to Julie's point, there are sites out there. You just need to be a little bit more resourceful in finding them, using more tools and finding them out there. Yeah, we're seeing actually from multiple sources, we're seeing quite a bit of technology coming into the RV space to improve the ability and the consistency in RV site booking. I think that's going to be a big change in the next year or two. The new book is going to be called RV Hack.
And to make life on the road easier, safer, and more fun. It's a lot to get your mouth around. We're still trying to remember it.
Just remember RV Hacks.
RV Hacks is all you need to know.
But, that's coming out July 13th, and it's going to be all over the place.
So I'm excited. So I'm excited to go into a bookstore and see your book, and hopefully get to meet up with you at some point, maybe when we're in Colorado, and have you sign it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
yes, give us a holler. We'd love to catch up with you guys.
Thank you for coming on the virtual campground. Really appreciate it. And it was so nice meeting you.
And we know everybody can find you guys at RVLove.com. Right. And you're on all the social media, but they can certainly go to your website, and there they'll find all the information about your book. We will also put the book in a link for the show notes.
That's right.
Great. Well, thanks so much for having us. It was a wonderful time with you.
Thanks for all you do.
Oh, thank you. It was wonderful meeting you. We've heard so much about you for 3 years now, so I'm excited that we got to meet you.
Oh, this is great. Well, thanks for having us on, Debra and Barry.
Thank you.
Take care.
Safe travels.
All right. So,
First of all,
cool couple.
Clearly, we were not in the RV.
No, we weren't.
That was when we were in. Where were we then?
We were in Port Angeles, and had horrible connection with our Wi-Fi router, and so we had to go. We actually rented a space.
We did a workspace, like one of those work co-oping. It was very interesting little space. But yes, you could see we had a nice blank wall behind us, and we were in the middle of Port Angeles. So it was kind of interesting.
It worked out great, though.
Yes, it was.
And that was a very nice conversation with them. They were a lovely couple, and tons of information.
We have the book.
Woohoo!
Is it backwards for y'all? Because it's backwards for me.
Yeah.
But yes, it's their new book, and you can see I've been looking at the hacks, and wanted to share with you guys a few of our favorites. And I asked y'all in chat, what's your favorite RV hack? So we'd love to hear from you. It was interesting. One of the things that they did, not only did Julie and Mark, of course, come up with the majority of these hacks, but they also talked to people like Heath and Alyssa that we've already mentioned, and the people from RV Miles, and some of the other RV people that we all talk to and love, to get their hacks as well. There's a section on kids and pets that Crazy Family Adventure contributed to. So so that's kind of fun.
Nice.
Yes, if they don't have it, you don't need it. That's a good hack, because you just need less. That's the major thing. But I like one of the ones that I thought was really interesting, and especially for, I think you're going to talk about this in a little bit, they have a section, like she mentioned, the 6 sections. One in driving, it talked about planning for serendipity. And we experienced that just recently.
Yeah, we did. I will, in the intro to the outro, I will talk a little bit about that. But it is, I mean, that's the thing. If you're so scheduled and you're just going from one thing to the other, you don't have a chance for your experiences to breathe and let them happen.
Or to happen upon a new experience you weren't expecting. So when he talks about Wallace, you'll understand. I really never I've never really considered this.
Edit that out.
Yeah, right. But they also say number 4 is to stop at state parks, because they of course can handle RVs. Generally speaking, you have to check it still, but just even for a lunch or just to take a break when you're driving, that it's a great idea, a great place just to stop and take a breath and they're usually stretch your legs.
Nice and wooded, and they're usually around lakes, and
plus it's a way to experience some of the state parks and not just love travel stops.
I mean, we love state parks. We haven't done a ton of them, but the ones we've done have been
so beautiful.
Really nice experiences.
I also like this one, especially because I know you struggle with this, but that you can remove bugs from the front with a damp dryer sheet.
I'm going to have to try that.
We're going to have to try that, that's a good way to get those bug guts off before they mess up with your paint. Of course, it also works better if you've waxed first, but... and then I like this one out of their RV living section. It was probably an excuse to buy a waffle iron, but that somebody was saying that their oven, we never use our oven because A, it gets hot in here, and B, it doesn't cook in a consistent way. And I know people say to put the pizza pan in, or the pizza stone in there, but that did not help. And then we just had to cook for so very long. So you're right, but somebody suggests you get a waffle iron, and that there's a lot of things you can make in a waffle iron besides waffles.
So it's kind of like the George Foreman.
Because you can use, that's true, because you can use it for paninis. You can make brownies in it. They'll, I guess, be waffle shaped, but brownies and cornbread. So I might have to buy a waffle iron just to check it out and make sure that they're right, and then I can report back to you guys.
That's right.
Besides which, maybe then Drew and Jason will want to hang out more. They'll have waffles.
Because we have a waffle iron.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about experimenting, and we're willing to do it for you.
The other great thing, because one of the things we've said, one of the people still have memberships at Costco, and I always think, well, I don't have enough room in my RV for all the Costco stuff. So one of the tips from one of their contributors was, because they actually live in a van and they still shop at Costco.
Really?
Yeah. So they get their stuff from Costco. They come into their van and the parking lot. They break it down, get it all out of all the extra
stuff.
Packaging, put it in their packing methods that they have in the van. And then that way, while there's still customers in the parking lot, they can get rid of all that waste there at Costco.
Okay. So they're getting rid of the
they break. I mean, like you buy strawberries, you go ahead and get them prepared. You freeze some, or you put some in the refrigerator, and
then you throw the trash away.
Or the paper products, you have your places to hide them, etc. So
and that makes sense. We actually just went to Costco. I don't know if you remember this. It was
I do remember
2 or 3
that.
days ago.
I do remember
with our
that.
friends, the Pishnas, who still have a membership, and it was like, wow, it's been a couple of years since we've been to a Costco.
3 years since we've been to Costco.
But we bought some stuff, but we were able to share some of it with them and split the cost and split the packaging.
That worked out well.
So that worked out.
Though we didn't share everything because we bought almonds and we're keeping them.
You can have some if you want.
So that is the RV hacks. That's some few of the hacks from the RV hacks book. Like I said, I'll put a link in the show notes. You can buy it order it through Amazon, and it's actually going to be in bookstores. One of the things they mentioned, and you'll see it in the longer, is that they will actually be going to some bookstores. I know they're going to Tattered Covers in Denver, and we'll be signing. So you can also look at your independent bookstore and see if they're coming to visit you, and go by and meet Julie and Mark and tell them we said hi.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, so go see the longer form interview on the YouTube channel, and give it a thumbs up and share it with your travel loving friends.
Yeah. Johnny also suggests that people can use city and county parks for those getting away, getting off the. So they're often, off the freeway. We've actually found a couple of city parks that actually have RV parking. Yeah. An overnight parking for free. Right. It's been
honor
amazing.
System.
Yeah.
And it's been great.
Even with hookups.
Yeah. It's been fantastic. Our favorite one's in Ellis, Kansas. We've been to it twice.
That one actually has a cost to it, but yes, we've been there twice.
$10-15 a night or something with
15,
hookups.
I think, with hookups, and it's perfect. It's a perfect spot when you're going from Colorado and you have to go across Kansas. It's a good stopping point. Yeah. And just down the road, for those of you that are historian lovers, just down the road from Ellis is one of the presidents, Eisenhower. He's from that area, from Kansas, and is it Eisenhower?
Truman? Yeah, one of the presidents.
I visited both of those really within a week of each other, and now I can't remember which. But the one from Kansas, and his library's there, and they just redid it. I'm pretty sure it's Eisenhower.
I think so.
Okay. Or Truman. Where is Kansas, Johnny?
We're in Kansas.
Ellis,
Kansas. Yeah, cute little community, and the RV park is
right off
of downtown, and there's a river or a pond or a lake.
It's a river.
And then, it's really lovely. One time we stayed there, and the lake was virtually frozen over, and it was super cold, but it was beautiful. Yeah.
Yep.
Lovely place.
It was really nice. Yes, Ellis. Ellis is not where the Presidential Library is, but Ellis is. Presidential Library was maybe 20 miles down the road, away from Colorado, so that'd be east. See how good I am at geography. But it looks like you're going into a neighborhood when you're getting to the Ellis Park, but then it's nice. But it's nice anyway. So, all right. What else do we have? Oh, I have a new question for you based on July. What swimsuit style made its debut in July of 1948? Swimsuit style.
1948.
Kind of swimsuit in 1948.
I'm going to say a Speedo.
I think you'd be wrong.
Okay. All right. Okay. So while they're pondering that, let's talk about. So we already mentioned Camp Carpe Diem.
Yes, we did.
Those tickets are still available. And then we have another event.
Yeah, we do. We have a really interesting other event that we have gotten involved with. We are not putting it on.
Yeah.
But we are been talking to these folks, and they are having an event. It starts September 8th through 12th. As many of the folks in our group are interested in renovations, and we have a whole Facebook group that is crazy about renovations. So this is actually a renovation-oriented event. They will have a schoolie, a van, and an RV, and they'll have 3 teams, one to work on each one of those vehicles, and they will be competing with one another over those 5 days to convert it into a great place to work and live. And so
that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. So tickets are on sale. We have, again, I'll put it in the show notes, and we've got it on, it's not on our website, I don't think, but I put it in the letter a couple of times, but I will get it on the web, on the social, and on this show notes.
Yeah.
So you can get tickets.
Link. Yeah, we have a link for us to buy tickets through us to help support us. Thank you.
And the tickets that you purchase, not only do you get to attend, there's going to be panel discussions and entertainment and just fun. Plus, you can go watch the teams and ask questions, but you can also get questions answered for your own renovation. There's going to be experts on hand, and they're willing to talk with you and work with your about your renovation. And brands that will be on site, like Dometic or Battleborn, that can also answer questions. But it also includes boondocking. So it's down in Alamosa.
Alamosa.
Yeah. And on somebody's kind of ranch property. And so it's going to be boondocking again, but your boondocking site is included, and you should have a nice spacious site there, and we'll be able to put some signs up for everybody that's involved that's there from TVC, and that way we can all get together and see one another as well. So another opportunity. Yes, Johnny, you are correct. It was the bikini. And why am I saying hi to Jamie Dimon?
I don't know. That's
the CEO of some bank.
Really?
I think so.
All right.
But maybe he means somebody else.
Okay. So what else?
I think that was
That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
How about that?
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. So so we talked about serendipity. So the outro is 2 examples of that. One was it's story time with Barry. So we were traveling through the panhandle of Idaho. We had just come through Coeur d'Alene, and we had no idea where we were going to stay that night. And so we pulled over to some sort of rest area and started just dialing and smiling and trying to find a campground.
Because we were planning to boondock, but it was 90-something degrees.
So hot. It was,
And we had boondocked the first night and thought, we can't do that again.
So we were going to try to find a campground to hook up, get the air conditioners running, and but we were having really trouble. So we left a couple of voicemails, and other people were just smiling and saying, there's no way we've got room for you tonight. Well, this one guy called us back and says, yep, we've got a slot for you. We're 45 minutes down the road. Come on in. And it was in Wallace, Idaho, which we'd never heard.
Never heard of.
Never would have gone there on our own. So we pulled in, and it turns out that the campground had a brewery on the property and a restaurant and brewery, and was right by a little creek that was running through, and by a big, long, like statewide.
Yeah, it went from a bike trail that went from Montana to Washington.
Yeah, and
across the Panhandle.
And then not 50 yards, you get into downtown Wallace, which is the entire town is on the National Register of Historic Places or whatever that is. And so really, really cool, serendipitous kind of thing that we weren't looking for, and we just stumbled across.
The funnest thing to me was, because we really hadn't planned on spending the night in Idaho, but we have friends, the Wheelers that we've already mentioned, that'll be at Camp Carpe Diem, the mountain bikers, and Jill's birthday's this month, but that they're from Idaho. So we texted them and said, hey, we're in Idaho, just wanted to let you know, and said we're in Wallace, not really thinking, because we still didn't know that much about Wallace. And they were so excited that we were seeing Wallace. And we thought, this was obviously a very big known place that people go to, and they were excited. And it's got tons of off-roading in it and lots of history. There's still silver mines there. It was fantastic. It was just a great place.
Just about every RV in that campground had off-highway vehicles, crammed in, and it was just a lot of stuff going on. But it was a really cool RV park. Really, so if you're in Wallace, go to that campground, Wallace RV Park, and
or if you're in Idaho and looking for a place, then it's a tight little campground, but we highly recommend it. The brewery is awesome.
Yeah, the brewery, and the food was good, and so
North Idaho Mountain Brew is what it's called.
Yeah, so you'll see that in the outro. Just a few photos from our time in Wallace. And then the other was just this experience here that we've had with our friends. So sort of at the last minute, our friends you'll be gutted. Nice. Our friends that Brittany and Josh Britton and Josh that are running the RV resort here. They got not an RV resort. It has RVs, cabins and RVs. So they at the last minute entered a float in the July 4th parade. So we got a chance to help them with that. And
why did they do that?
Why did they do that? Because you convinced them.
Yeah, we were having maybe 1 or 2 drinks, and we're like, "What do you mean you're not in the parade? You have to be in the parade." So that was a lot of fun. We got to hang out in the parade, and we were like locals. We haven't been like locals in a parade. Well, I haven't been in a parade, I can tell you.
There were a lot of people.
Oh my gosh, the entire town plus at least 2,000 tourists came.
Lots of tourists. So anyway, you'll see a few slides of that, photos of that, with some patriotic music, and yeah, that's it.
All right.
That's our serendipitous story, and I'm sticking to it.
There you go. Well, Johnny, that's good to know. I haven't heard everybody that's going to be there, so we will definitely look up Jamie for you and say hi, and to know that he's at Gutted. Yeah, there's going to be quite a few people that most people would probably know, especially if you have a camper van. There's a big group of camper van folks that are going to be there. The Odd Couple will be there from the RV Odd Couple, I guess I should call them. So lots of known people.
Yeah. And we'll be there.
And we'll be there. So yeah, lots of people to meet and greet with. So that is exciting to have another name to meet.
Yeah.
And we appreciate so much you guys being here. Before we have this outro, so
hit the thumbs up.
Yep.
Give us a
thumbs
like.
up. Yep. And,
subscribe if you haven't already subscribed.
Invite your friends to subscribe. That would be really helpful, and we would appreciate it. Let them know what we're doing, that you like it, and let us know if there's anything you want to see. We're going to be back August 3rd is the first Tuesday of August that we'll be here, and hopefully maybe another time as well. So just keep your eye on all the social media and the letters to see when. We don't know where we'll be on August 3rd, nor do we know what we'll be talking to you about, but we will have something. And if there's something you want us to cover, let us know. Somebody you want us to interview, let us know.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, like we said. And until we can see you in person, we'll see you in the virtual campground.
See you around the campfire.
Hey, darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two. Hey, darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in